Once you have your still life set up, then you're going to figure out how you want to compose your painting. And you're going to do some thumbnails. Now, I know you're composing your still life by arranging the objects, but you also are composing it by choosing what point of view you paint it from. Okay, are you painting it from here? Are you painting it from here? Okay. Are you painting it from here? Are you painting it from here? Okay. Also, how much you zoom in on it. Are you painting this little portion of it? Are you painting the table, the light, the whole kitchen as part of it? Also, the orientation you painted in. Are you painting it portrait like this? Or are you painting it landscape like this? These are all choices you have besides moving the objects around and composing your composition on the painting. So what you're going to do is you're going to do 3 thumbnails. And thumbnails are quick, small sketches, about 3 by 4 inches, where you can experiment and play with compositional ideas. And remember, these thumbnails don't have to be detailed. Keep them very simple. Okay, so I did 3 thumbnails. Here's thumbnail 1, thumbnail 2, so this one's in portrait. Thumbnail 3. Okay, and I think I'm most interested in thumbnail 1. I like what's going on here with the negative space. I think that's visually interesting. The shapes that are created and the way the eye moves around the composition. So this is what I'm going to use as the starting point of my painting. And remember, a thumbnail is a starting point, so you could always change this and develop it more. So don't feel constrained by the thumbnail. But I'm going to try it from that view, that perspective, and that cropping. So now we're going to draw onto our canvas, and I'm going to use this as a starting point. And I changed it up a little bit in the still life and ended up putting the lime inside this bowl. Okay, and when you start to, I know this isn't a drawing class, but when you start to draw, you're going to start off light and loose. Okay, so don't hold your pencil too tight, okay? Just start off light and don't apply too much pressure. You start off with light and loose shapes. And just looking at it, I realize I want to push it a little bit more to the left. So that's what I'm going to do. A little bit larger. Okay, and once you have a general sense of where things are at, then you can start to lightly refine it. Okay, so now we can begin to paint. And in this painting, since it's a monochromatic still life, you're going to use one color plus white. So you can either use dioxazine purple, burnt umber, or phthalo blue. Okay, but you're only going to use one of these, one of these, plus white. Okay, so not going to use any black or any other color. Okay, and I'm going to do dioxazine purple and white. The brushes I'm going to use primarily are my flats. So here's my flat, has a rectangular shaped head. And then my filbert, which is curved at the top. Okay, the way I want you to approach this, I want you to simplify your forms into two values, lights and shadows. And in some cases, if that's not easily discernible, then separate it into a lighter value and a darker value. So we're going to keep it very simple at this point. And I personally like to approach the darkest object so I can establish where the darkest values are. Okay, and I would suggest mixing these two values before you apply them to the canvas. And the reason I say that is because the paint dries quickly. So if you apply one value, wait, mix the other value, then it's likely to be dry by the time you try to blend. And I know there's a lot of other values, but we're keeping things simple right now. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly blend. And it's up to you. Some people like to blend more, and some people like to blend less. But if you want to blend, you want to wet your brush, and I'm going to use the filbert, and then you're going to want to dry it off a little bit. You just want it to be a little bit damp, not too much. No, you don't have to blend a lot if you don't like to. Now, once the paint starts to gum up, stop messing with it. Just leave it. If you keep messing with it, it's not going to blend well. Then you're going to want to move on to other objects. And begin to compare values to each other. So how light or dark something is depends on the values around it. So when I go to make this bowl value, I'm going to be looking at how dark this is. The phone stopped recording, so we're going to start out from this point, and then I'm going to develop it a little bit further. But basically the goal is you're going to cover up the whole canvas with paint, okay, including the background, and you're going to be simplifying each form into two values.